Seven Mile Radio, actually, yeah, that's where I grew up, but that's not why I named the company Seven Mile Radio. It was more so back in the day when I started it. Our local artists didn't have a platform to get their music out here. You know what I mean? The local artists, local radio station didn't support them nowhere near they do now. You know what I mean? So I wanted to be that Detroit radio station that featured all Detroit artists. So that's what I was in the beginning, and I really named it that because at the time that I started it in 2006, 2007, really, what the city was really immediately known for was Eminem and 8 Mile. So I wanted to make that connection to that, but not really being known for. I wanted to make the connection to people seeing it and making the connection to Detroit and music, but not that Eminem shit. Basically, you know what I'm saying? There's no knock to Eminem, but there's so much music in the city. There's besides what he was doing at the time. That you know what I mean. That's kind of the message that I wanted to send with the name. So.
What do you feel the state of Detroit rap is right now? Because you had Peasy recently say, man, 2024 we done with spinning the block, and most of the music is spinning the block, whatnot. What you feel how it's going right now?
You said the state of Detroit music. You said.
Yeah, you think it's in a good place? You think we two boxed in with the same type of material?
I mean, I wouldn't say we boxed in with the same material. I mean, when you look around, like the era of hip hop, the music, rap music I come from, every region had its own sound. You know what I'm saying? Every region had its own sound, and every artist within that sound had their own individual sound. You know what I mean? I feel like we still have that in Detroit. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe we don't have as much of variety as maybe mainstream, wise. We don't have the variety that I would like to be put to the forefront. So I like it in the magnitude that we getting the exposure, right? The spotlight is on us. You know what I'm saying? That we being respected like we never been respected. I ain't gonna say never been respected before. I ain't even about to say that shit. That's a lie. But we being respected in the industry right now in today's age like we weren't in the past 20 years. I'll say it like that. And I love that that we getting that exposure. But at the same time, I feel like it's a lot more artists. You know what I mean? Detroit, the perspective that the music industry that the world has of Detroit right now is very limited. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot more that they need to see, that they need to know about. So that's the pro and the con to it.
So doing what you do, you said back in '06, so like damn, you like pioneers and stuff. But were you influenced by like Sub Zero or Turbulence? Like who's your biggest influence to do what you did?
I guess locally, as far as influences, I'll say it was a lot of people at the time that was doing it that helped me and were influences at the same time. We talk about Darren Brown with Dirty Mitten Films at the time. He was a real big, and still is real big on the film scene out here in the city. He was somebody that was real instrumental in helping me get started with all of this. And getting all of the business aspects of everything together. You know what I'm saying? Not only, like I said, just from material, the content that he put out in the industry, but just personally for me, he was like a mentor for me. You know what I'm saying? It still is. So, Darren Brown is number one, you know what I'm saying, as far as, people on the music scene. Pirelli from 7 Mile to Belle Isle was the first TV show that I was on. A lot of people actually get me confused with him, or my platform confused with his, just because of the namesake, right? 7 Mile Radio, 7 Mile to Belle Isle. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog. You know what I mean? He put me on this show back in the day and gave me a boost back in MySpace days. You know what I'm saying? I was on TV and back in MySpace days with Pirelli. Al Nuke was the first artist to put me in a music video. I gave Al Nuke a beat, and he had a platform called Nuke at Night. You know what I'm saying? So he, you know what I'm saying, I was on his platform, but you know what I'm saying, as far as a lot of people that I used to watch, Turbulence was big back in the day. There's a couple of other ones, man, that I used to sit up in the middle of the night and watch and just kind of, you know what I'm saying, just study a little bit, you know what I mean, as far as just getting to know artists from the scene, from the city that I didn't know, and just kind of getting my mechanics and my footwork as far as all of this, you know what I'm saying?
Were you a fan of Blake Icewood music?
Fan of Blade Icewood music. His music, honestly, I'ma say no, man. It was probably maybe one or two songs that I could rock with, but just as a whole, like I respected his impact and what he brought to the city. But just me, like when I get in the car, am I cutting on Blade Icewood's music? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of other artists from the city that I was banging back in that day that probably wasn't known. I ain't gonna say known, but like I was a big my first fan that I first person that I was really a fan of from the city was Esham. You know what I'm saying? And I still
Mm-hmm.
listen to Esham to this day. You know what I mean? So, Boss. I was a fan of Boss. Uh, Detroit's Most Wanted. It was a lot of cats. Now I'm going back a little bit further before Blade Icewood days, but I mean even KDZ, Tone Tone, Stretch Money, Street Lord Wine, Lodge Boys. I can go on and on. Made West. It was a lot of cats that I was banging back in that era. You know what I mean? That I probably would be more putting into the CD. You know what I'm saying?
Right. When did you start to make that transition into doing the community activist work that you do, working with missing children, the drives, so on and so forth? When did that come about? When did you realize that's important?
It was in, I believe it was May 1st of 2013. There was a big situation going on downtown Detroit um, with a protest of the banks. I really didn't know, and honestly still don't know too much of the details about what went on that day or why it was going on. But it was two of my own their personalities that urged me that I need to go down there because they knew about just my following and the traction that I got on my page even back then, and they told me that I need to go down and record this protest of the citizens going down there in Detroit protesting the banks. And I'm like, what purpose is it for me to go down here and record a protest? You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Because back then, I'm just straight music, right? I'm straight going to the open mics, interviewing the artists, and I'm all in the hip hop realm. So I'm like, what point is it for me to go down here and record a protest? But when I went down there, I mean, the movement and what was going on was so huge, that I was glad that I went and I documented. And when I recorded it, the video went so viral that it was a lot of people just off of that saying, "Man, we need this kind of content. The news don't cover stuff like this, and we need more of this." And from there, it was just going live at car accidents, different fires at a house, or just kind of anything that was going on in the community that I seen, and then people got to know me to the point where people would send me stuff, or when they see me out on the scene, they would tell me what's happening as if I was the newsman. So I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
kept going in that lane. You know what I mean?
Wow. Did, does it ever infuriate you that we got a lot of rappers, or not just even Detroit, but in general, we got rappers, platforms, thousands of followers, but they won't share missing baby's picture, and that when we know it come across their timeline or they know something about it. Did that ever frustrate you?
I can't say that it frustrates me because I can't be mad at people for what I'm saying using their platform for what they want to use it for. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel some kind of way that um, it seems as if they are ignoring it by not posting it. You know what I'm saying, or not saying anything about it, not mentioning it, or even going live and putting it in a story or anything. And some of them might, and some of them may. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's a lot of things that the hip hop community could do if they, you know, put their resources together. I say it like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk bad about nobody for doing what they're doing or what they're not doing, but at the same time, it's everybody could be doing more. I say it like that.
Right. Is it a trending thing now that like guys might follow behind you and do the type of work you do for the views or whatnot, and just be ingenuine about the whole thing?
Yeah, I ain't gonna say it's a trending thing, but I do know that there's a lot of people that I've inspired in a lot of different ways, whether it be from podcasting, doing citizen journalism work, having a podcast network, or even down to this specific case with Naziah Harris. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel any kind of way about it. You know what I'm saying? I understand that we, even, specifically in Detroit, we live in a monkey see, monkey do type of a climate, you know what I'm saying, where people don't want to do nothing until they being successful for somebody else. You know what I mean? So, I can't be mad at that. That's just the climate of where we from, or anywhere else for that matter. But when people begin to um, agitate, what I'm doing and disturb what I'm doing in some type of way, that's when it become a problem for me.
Mm-hmm. You was covering this, or you are covering the Zion Harris thing, man. To get into that,
You said
are
what?
you still holding on Hope Shield live, or is this more just? like James E. White said, it's looking like a recovery process. Because if you're looking at rivers and stuff, I would think that maybe they know that she likely perished because she's not just swimming around out in no rivers.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the emotion that I carry um, about it in the beginning when they talked about the recovery, the search. Like the first search that I went out, and they said that they was looking for a body more. So I said, you know what, y'all, they don't look for living people in fields and abandoned houses. You know what I'm saying? So it gives me the notion that they looking for a body. And if they are looking for a body, then they must know something that we don't. That's what I felt. But it's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
information that come out since then that lead me to feel like maybe she could still be alive. I don't know if this stuff has come out from uh, people inside the nucleus of the household where she's from in order to uh, stir the pot and deter us from searching or whatnot. I don't know what it is, but it's so many different curves and loops and corners to this situation. It's just it almost give me a headache just trying to even explain everything that's going on. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous.
Did you ever get a chance to interview her father?
Yeah, I interviewed her. I interviewed her father. Yeah, I think I was on episode 2 of my podcast when I went through the whole series of it. And I spoke to him quite often. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, actually.
I didn't get a chance to see it, so maybe you give me a little detail. He getting a lot of slack online. People feel like all these is fake tears, or he wasn't in her life. And this is how does he feel about all this criticism coming in? And is it like true was he ever a suspect?
No, he was never a suspect. I mean, from the outside looking in, from somebody who don't know all of the details of what's going on, I can understand completely why people had that perspective of him. You know what I'm saying? I had that perspective of him. A lot of my people that watch my podcast had that perspective of him. But when we, actually, episode 10, the next one that I'm doing is with him and his wife, and it is specifically to get in detail about the whole situation of how Naziah ended up with the grandmother, because his explanation on episode 2 of my podcast didn't really give clarity, and due to emotions being so high, so much information being come out that even he didn't know about the situation. He just it wasn't a lot of clarity being given on why Naziah ended up in her grandmother's hands. But the last the last live that I did on the scene of where was they at? The church where they were searching behind the church in the water. I overheard a conversation of Desir's father's wife explaining more thoroughly on how she ended up in that predicament, and that's why I decided to invite them over to the podcast so they can explain it to dispel all of that stigma that's been in his head about this.
Okay, yeah, I will be tuned in because I do want to highlight it if you do got some genuine reasons or
Hmm.
whatnot. But I mean, who am I
Definitely.
to judge?
Right, right.
Um, you was you went to you said you went to is we talking about 3 Mile Out of Drive Church
No,
that
no,
area?
no.
What
West 7 Mile and Lasher.
okay.
That's where they were searching at.
What do you feel about those? It was some bloody shoes and some pants. Did that look staged? Did that belong to her? Because I seen a picture of her with some similar shoes on, and it's a pretty popular shoe, I guess.
Case in point. I mean, that is there. That is not the only pair of Nike Dunks in that color scheme that exists in the city of Detroit, right? And when you put together the fact of how long she had been missing, coupled with that shoe being there at the time that we found it, right? When me and Roxy, Nazaya's cousin, okay, is actually the one that. Let me tell you the story about how the shoe got found originally, okay? So that conversation that I just told you that I overheard with Nazaya's father's wife. Around that same time, there was other people talking, like the police commissioner, I believe, and a couple of other people that were talking. And the police informed me that they wanted me to take my live down because there were some conversations being had that they didn't want out to the public, and I was live, right? They told me to take my live down and go somewhere else, go live and do my own thing. So at that same time, it was a lot of people in the comments, excuse me, telling me that Roxy was looking for me. It was in the comments, Roxy looking for you, Mark. Roxy wants you. Roxy said come to her. She was in another area searching. So with them telling me to cut my live off and go do my own thing somewhere else, I went and cut the live off and I went and found Roxy. So Roxy was across the street, across 7 Mile, at some abandoned building where she had found this shoe, two shoes. Now that I know, I talked to her. She actually found both of the shoes. So Roxy found the shoes, and she told me to come over here and go live with her to investigate, search with her because she was by herself. So I went over there, found the shoe, went live on the shoe. I don't know why my voice is going out right now. Found the shoe, and um, yeah, went live on the shoe, and then the police called me and asked me where I was with the shoe. I told them, listen, we right across the street. Okay, I gave him the like kind of like where we was, the area, the building. He asked me a question. He said, "Was the shoe weathered?" I said, "No, the shoe wasn't weathered." Okay, so go back to my point with between the time that Naziah went missing and the time that I found the shoe. If it was actually her shoe, it would have been weathered had it been out there that long. Okay, if it was her shoe and it's not weathered, that means somebody that knew something about the situation. Maybe they planted the shoe. Okay, because they knew that they would be searching over in that area, trying to throw them off or whatever. But the golden thing that we don't know if it's that shoe is the same size as Naziah's shoe. Okay,
Whoa.
we don't know that now. Now, from what I hear, the investigators don't believe that that's her shoe. So
Don't that seem odd that that is a non-weather shoe and a dunk that's just on a tree?
yep, I mean it could be, like I said, it could be Crackhead Kelly's shoe. Right? We don't know if it's the same size as Naziah. We have no reason to believe other than the fact that it's the same shoe that she was wearing in a couple of pictures or that she owned.
I mean, don't you think it would be easy if somebody or whoever she was living with to tell her shoe size?
Yep,
Okay, so that brings me into to the point of it was a registered sex offender living in that house with those kids.
absolutely.
It was he a family member?
No, he was the boyfriend of one of the grandmother's daughters. So I believe Naziah's aunt, maybe she was.
Her adopting children, isn't that illegal to have him around?
To my,
Or
to my understanding,
is he a suspect?
I don't know for sure. From what I heard, he was taken into custody for unrelated gun charges. But as I was told that he was being held now in connection in the investigation for what it was said was on the police. One of the news reports said that we have someone related, we have someone in connection in custody on an unrelated charge.
Oh,
So
yeah, you
someone
put two.
in,
Yeah, okay.
you see what I'm saying? They have someone in connection to this in custody, but on an unrelated charge. So, to my knowledge, he hasn't got out yet. So,
Yeah, that math is math. What was she? Did she ever report abuse prior to this from that home?
yes, not only sexual abuse from Jarvis, but CPS was called. If I'm not mistaken, let me get the numbers actually right, but I believe they said in the last 7 or 8 months, I believe they said CPS was called like about 17 times. But because the grandmother knows how to present her situation, when they come, they don't see a problem.
Right. From what I get from the situation, she's like one of those older type of grandmothers that get all the kids that maybe been abused or neglected and get the check from them and live like that.
That's
And
kind of the
people,
no, I was gonna say that's kind of the narrative that's going on is that she is using them kids for the financial benefits.
People people said that she was talking at first and now she's not. Is she a suspect?
I don't know if she's been. I don't know if who they've been questioning. Like I don't have, um,
Mm.
that much of an inside connection to the detectives on the case to know who's a suspect or whatnot. So
Right.
I don't know who's being looked at.
What do you think about the police chief or commissioner, what I think it was called, James E. White, compared to the one we had before, James Craig?
He seems to be on his job. He seems to be one that cares about the community more so one that cares about the spotlight. I can say that much. I do say that I notice uh, uh, a more heavy presence of police force out on the streets now than I did when James Craig when Chief Craig, was that Craig or not Craig? What did you just say? I'm forgetting his name already.
I think it was James Craig,
I
something
think it
like
was
that.
Craig. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because White is the one right now. Yeah, so yeah, I see a lot more police on the street right now. You know what I mean?
I think we had like an all-time low in murders in like a decade or something like that. 253. I mean, that's still high, but I guess some
Yeah,
people
but
probably high.
sometimes from what I understand, they'll exaggerate the numbers of some things up and exaggerate the numbers of some things down for their own political reasons. You know what I mean? Like certain things going on, maybe uh, big events going on where they don't want to scare people off. They want to make Detroit a tourist attraction, right? So it wouldn't be a tourist attraction if we was the top murder capital of the world still, right? So they maybe have to manipulate some things sometimes to make things look better than they are or worse than they are in some situations. So
Damn, I never thought about it like that. That's crazy. Have you had a chance to meet? I think her name's Tamara Liberty
yeah,
Smith.
yeah, that's a good friend of mine.
She really tied in. She really tied in with the community. She knew a lot of guys were like our mutual friends. These guys like really out here, and I found that to be real amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you think it's
she's been tied into the community and doing a lot of community work out here. Do a lot of good work. Know a lot of good people, man. That's my partner.
Has she ever mentioned anything about running for an office position?
I mean, not to my knowledge. I don't know. Knowing Tamara, I don't know if she would want that responsibility. I think it's a lot that goes into uh having a political seat in the city of Detroit that people don't realize. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I wouldn't. I think she could. She could definitely do it, but I don't know. I ain't gonna speak for her, but I could just hear her voice now, man. Like I'm not sure if she would want to do that.
Uh, Not doing a lot of work that you do, like you in hip hop, and then you come to do this type of stuff. Did you ever get that criticism? Because I seen on some people videos who was looking for these kids. You got, oh man, why you doing the police work? Has that ever happened to you? Does it bother you?
You said what
If
now?
it has,
What was the beginning part of the question? What did you say?
you in hip hop. You know, we got these rules and restrictions and all this crazy street stuff that they try to apply to everybody. And then you start doing this work, like looking for missing children. Has anybody, got on your live or inbox you like, oh man, why you doing police work? And if they
Oh
have, does
yeah,
it
oh
make you
yeah,
feel?
oh yeah. Motherfuckers straight up called me a snitch before. Like yeah, yeah, yeah. All kind of shit. But it's crazy that you would be called a snitch when you have nothing to do with a situation and people are doing dumb shit in public. Right now, you snitching because people are doing stupid shit out in the public where everybody can see and where cameras is. You know what I'm saying? But then on the flip side of that, right? On the flip side of that, when something happens to somebody that they love, right, and somebody like me is around filming and going live, they are so thankful that they see what happened and who did it and where it happened and how it happened, right? So that's the contrast. That's the pro and the con of it. You know what I'm saying? So and it's
Right.
crazy that again, you have people out here doing dumb shit in public, in front of everybody's face, but the people that are documenting it are wrong.
But they don't say that to the white news reporters out there and the analysts and all that stuff. But has it ever discouraged you at a point? You was like, man, this. thinking about this stuff, you drive me a little crazy. People saying this has ever discouraged you to the point you like consider, nah, I ain't gonna do this no more.
Uh, Not that I'm not gonna do it no more, but it has been plenty of stories that I wasn't gonna touch because it was just too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people may feel like this is one of the stories that's too much, but I mean, this one kind of touched me specifically because, I'm kind of going through a situation about my youngest son. You know what I mean, with CPS. You know what I'm saying, failing me, and it was the connection with the failure of CPS with this story with Isaiah that really got me charged up about it. That made me stick my foot in it like I did. You know what I mean? So
Right? Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Cause I seen, I just don't understand. Like, this is not a part of the game. I I think those people low key sympathizes with those, this type of stuff. But regardless of all that, uh, I was gonna ask you something else. I forget what it was. Where can we find all these links to your podcast, man? I just went blank. Where can we find all these links to your podcast?
my Facebook
And why
page.
you don't drop everything on Instagram too?
Shit, I mean, because the shit episode what 545 is a 5 hour long video, brother,
Damn.
and none of my podcasts are less than 2 hours long. You see what I'm saying? So Instagram doesn't allow you to like how I'm streaming live. You see, I just showed you how my setup. Instagram don't allow you to stream like this live with this kind of setup. You know what I mean? I have to pre-record everything and edit it, right? And then you got to think. I have anywhere from 15 to 20 podcast clients to come to my studio every week to do their weekly podcast. So between me having
Mm-hmm.
time uh, uh, set aside for that, and then my own podcast and my own life and my son that I do have, right? I ain't got time to be doing all of that editing for all of that extracurricular stuff. So it's just like I have people follow me where they follow me at, or just go subscribe to my website, 7mileradio.com. But my Facebook page, where the majority of the action is Mark DeAndre. That's my real name. So the one with all
Okay,
of the
that's cool.
followers on it.
Matter of fact, I got a couple more questions. Do you notice that in the last 4 or 5 month period, there's more children going missing, or is it because of you and putting it out there in the algorithms that we saying it more? Does it seem a little different than any
No,
other year?
no. What it is what I explain to people is that news stories are to news outlets what the chicken sandwich is to Popeyes, right? When Popeyes dropped
Mm-hmm.
the chicken sandwich, what happened? Churches came out one, KFC came out with one, right? Because they want to tap into that market of that money that's being made off the chicken sandwich, right? So you contrast that over to the news, and you'll notice this pattern after I say it to you, right? When you have big news story, all of the news stories want to tap into it. Now they have to come out with the next biggest missing person story, right? Or some kind of angle to the biggest news story that came out, right? So now you got all of these news
Right.
outlets now popping up with their news or they missing person story. I don't care if it's a fire, you know what I'm saying? Now this church burned down. Now the next media outlet gonna come out with their biggest fire story, right? So that's the thing about it is like it's like they chasing a check, like they get ratings off of us viewing, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
what's happening. You know what I mean? The missing cases are just the newest chicken sandwich to the news outlets.
Yeah. I believe it's Texas. They got a place, and you can't live any place in Texas being a Texas for them. They got just like a strict city area for them where they live at. You think that we should adopt something like that, or maybe that's too harsh?
You said adopt the who?
Okay, down in Texas, it's a place where like a majority of all the sex offenders live. You can't live many places in Texas in a registered sex offender. Do you think we should try to adopt that idea and push it, or is that too harsh?
Um, I don't think it's too harsh. You know what I mean? But I think that what we might face is like some discrimination type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Because where do you draw the line at now? Because if you're gonna put all of the sex offenders here, then you got to put all of the thieves over here. If you put all of the thieves over here, then you got to put all of the drug dealers over here, right? So then you get to segregating everybody, and that's going to cause a problem. It's going to be a big mess. I don't see how they did that in Texas, but you know, I'm not against that idea.
Yeah, man, you got some deep perspectives. I thank you for giving me your time talking to you, man. Is there anything else? Oh, no. One more thing. Hold on.
Uh
I
oh.
think you did it with Dr. Umar. I see you
Yeah.
did it. How do you feel about him, man? Because I look at it like, okay, I get you preaching forwardness for the African Americans, so on and so forth, but you basically propagating hate. You basically doing the same thing that oppressor do. That's it's discrimination. Can't amalgamate outside your race. How you feel about that? Is he doing too much?
I interviewed Dr. Umar Johnson 5 times, brother. Okay, I did media coverage for him at 2 of his events when he came to Detroit. After the fifth interview, when I asked him, um, you know, me keeping my journalistic integrity and asking him the questions that not only the audience is asking, because I'm live interviewing him just like we doing now, right? So people are asking me questions to ask him, and as I'm trying to do that, and he's getting agitated because he's getting asked questions that he don't want to answer. I segued into one of my own questions, which was, if yourself, brother Dr. Umar, and brothers like Polite, Red Pill, Professor Griff, Dr. Kava, Professor Smalls, if all of y'all preach the same core message of black unity and pollinating black resources, right? Why can't all of you giants in black consciousness come together and work together and do some big, summit type shit? Work, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm King Kong consciousness. There ain't none of them niggas like me and boop 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 bop 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 bop. Right? And then he blocked me, and then look up and I see that he's the connection that he had with me. Now he's working with brother Malik Shabazz. He's going on his show now. He doesn't deal with me, he does with Malik Shabazz. So I ain't got nothing against Malik Shabazz. You know what I mean? You're a powerful brother in the community as well. But I just noticed that he doesn't like to be asked certain questions. You know what I mean? So he blocked me. So
Did you ever ask him where's that school at? He been taking donations for 8+ years.
I believe he got the school. I don't know if it's open, but I believe he got it.
Still ain't open. This is just a bunch of excuses. Like,
oh, I didn't. I haven't. Yeah, I'm blocked. I can't. I didn't follow. I don't follow him.
right? Okay.
So I mean, I think maybe on Instagram still, but I don't use Instagram that much as I should. So I don't see. I'm not updated about. People still tag me when he comes to town. I like, yeah, Umar here, Umar here. You ain't going. I'm like, nah.
You like Candace Owens?
She's a little bit weird to me. She has some views. You have to let her talk to understand, right? Why she feels the way she feels. Some things I can agree with, and some things I don't.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's basically boiled down to Biden again and Trump.
Okay.
If you could sway people to go either way, who would you sway them to go toward?
uh, here's the thing. That's crazy about today, right? When I was growing up, it was 3 things that my mom told me that was nobody's business, right? And it was who you fucking, how much money you make, and who you vote for, right? And it seems as if that now, today, in this day and age, those things is at the forefront of what everybody wants to know: who you fucking, how much money you got, and who you voting for, right? And it seems that that's like
Right.
fucked up the world. Those 3 things and shit. I mean, we got people, storming the White House because we all up in everybody's business about who they voting for and who they ain't. We got reality TV shows and shit polluting our kids' minds and even some of these adults' minds, worried about who somebody fucking and ain't got no business with them. You know what I'm saying? And then we got everybody counting everybody's pockets, looking at what they got and what they don't got, and feeling some kind of a way and treating people some kind of way according to what they don't got or have, right? So, but
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question, if I was to sway someone, in this political atmosphere, you know what I'm saying, for my own reasons and shit, there's 2 reasons why I would have to say, as weird as it sounds, I would have to say Donald Trump for 2 reasons, right? Because he is against implementing, and I don't really, not against nobody's lifestyle or how they want to live or who they want to fuck, right? We just made that real clear. But I don't want you teaching LGBTQ, RST, and P stuff to my kids. Number one,
Yeah.
right? Number two, I am pro firearm. I am pro Second Amendment. So You know, you Democrats want to take my guns, and they want to teach pro LGBT life to my children. So for that reason, I'm going to have to shut the Democrats down altogether.
Facts. So it's almost like we need a new party or something like that. And I don't think it should be. I don't think people should be dirty to say they feel dirty or like they said some salacious when they say they support Trump. I mean, he did some good in office. I had to ask you that because your perspective on things kind of changed me today, man. But it was nice talking to you, bro. I appreciate the time you gave me, beloved.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Good talking to you.
Thank you, man. We can tap in anytime.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. All right, now y'all. I know y'all can still hear me, but I know y'all can't see me, right? So let me see if I can do something real quick. Because my camera was connected to his Zoom. So now let me see if I can connect my camera back to my shit like this. Okay, it don't look like it's working, y'all. My cameras is still okay. Wait a minute, let me try something else. Cause I don't want to have to get off here and don't want to have to get off here and come back. So let me see if I can figure out how to reconnect my cameras to my software after I disconnect it from his Zoom. Okay, let me see if I do it like this then. Nope. I gotta restart my software, y'all. If y'all gonna come back, we can kick it about the interview. I'm about to come back live and we can kick it about the interview, y'all. But I can't reconnect my cameras right now because it was connected to his Zoom. So I will see y'all in about 5 minutes.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.